Hi everyone, so today we're going to be looking at the British value of rule of law. So we're going to be going through what rule of law is, what is meant by a law, looking at a couple of laws that are in the United Kingdom, whether those are true or false, and then you'll have a task at the end to be creating a PowerPoint basically on the rule of law. So your teacher should have put this PowerPoint along with a empty Google Slides presentation as your assignment, as you are required to make a small or short presentation on the rule of law. So what is a law in the first place? The law is a system of rules which a particular country or community recognises as regulating the actions of its members, and which may enforce the imposition of penalties. So basically, it's a rule that if you don't follow it, you will probably be punished. So law in general, or laws in general, are just a set of rules that have been created by the government of that country for its members to follow. So rule of law is then defined as a basic definition basically of the rule of law in the United Kingdom is that fair law should govern the country and that the law should apply equally to everyone, including the government as well. So it's not only that the government makes the rules and makes the law, but they should also fall under following these laws as well. So, no one is more powerful than the law, is what the rule of law states. Therefore, if you are a member of the government, say you are an MP, even the Prime Minister, you all fall under the rule of law. So nobody can kind of get away with doing whatever it is that they want. We've also got everyone is equal under the law, so everybody has equal rights under the law, and everyone is equal in terms of punishments given by the law. Judges apply the law independently as well, and the law is a set of rules that protects people's rights and stops dictatorship. So rather than having one person give rules out, the law is something that nobody is beneath, and the law protects its individuals as everybody is the same in accordance to the law. So next we have why rule of law is important. So why is basically having laws important in a particular country or community? The first reason is equality. So we want to make sure that everybody's treated equally and nobody's beneath the law, as I've mentioned before that. So regardless of what position you're in, what job you have, whether you're on benefits or not, where you live, what school you went to, everybody's equal in the eyes of the law. We also have protection of rights as well. So basically to protect your rights as a citizen, the reason that we have the law is to make sure that everybody is treated in the same way as each other, and it's not that one person has more of a say than another. We also have fairness, so they're all kind of very similar. It's all about equality and making sure that everybody is treated the same and treated in a fair way. Keeping public order as well, so we have a rule of law and laws in general to keep public order, to make sure that basically the community runs and society runs, otherwise society would fall to pieces. So different types of punishments. We have without a court deciding that the law has been broken, no punishment can actually be given. But if you do break the law, you can be given a number of different types of punishments. These punishments include things like prison sentences, fines, community orders, so things like community service, picking up litter, volunteering, etc., and suspended sentences. Suspended sentences are when you are not sent to prison. However, if you commit a crime within the next, say, 18 months or so, then you will face a prison sentence. We have tagging as well, so those electronic tags that people have on their ankles to basically monitor where they are. They have GPS trackers within them to also know whether that person leaves the country and things like that, because there are certain restrictions and curfews that people have to follow when they have broken the law and if they are given a tag. So we're going to do a little game of true and false. Looking at the following laws then, you've got to decide whether they are true or false. So if you get a piece of paper out, I'm going to show you a couple of laws. If you write down whether you think they are true or false, each of the answers will come up after I've read out what the law is. So the first one is all beached whales must be offered to the reigning monarch, meaning the Queen at the moment. So all beached whales must be offered to the reigning monarch. So if you think that is true, please pop down true on your notes. If you think it is false, pop down false, and then give yourself a mark if you have got the answer right. So for this one, the answer is true. So anything that you find on the beach, if it is a whale, belongs to the Queen. So you can't actually do anything with it. The next one we have is no person shall, in the course of a business, import into England potatoes which he knows or has reasonable cause to suspect are from Spain. So you're not allowed to basically bring in potatoes from Spain or import potatoes from Spain. If you think that is true, write down true. If you think it is false, then please write down false and then give yourself a mark based on whatever the answer is. So the answer is false. You can bring potatoes from anywhere, obviously if it follows food regulation guidelines, but at the moment that law is false. It is illegal to carry a plank along a pavement as well as any ladder, wheel, pole, cask, placard, showboard or hoop in the Metropolitan Police District. So do you think that is true or false? It is illegal to carry a plank along a pavement as well as anything else that's quite long like a ladder, a wheel, a pole in a Metropolitan Police District. It is actually true. So the next one is, it is an offence to be drunk and in charge of cattle in England and Wales. So do you think that is true or false? Again, write it down and then give yourself a mark if you have got it right. So the answer is true, and I think this is the same. True, and I think this is the same for Scotland as well. One of our teachers told me that it was an offence to be in charge of cows when you are drunk. So it is the same in Scotland as well. We have, it is illegal to handle a trout in suspicious circumstances. Do you think that is true or false? Again, write it down and then give yourself a mark if you are right. The answer is false. So I don't actually know how you would be able to handle a trout in a suspicious circumstance, but it is a false law. Then we have, it is an offence to beat or shake any carpet, rug or mat, except doormats before 8 a.m. in a thoroughfare in the Metropolitan Police District. So the last one we talked about in the Metropolitan Police District was carrying a ladder or a plank. This one is shaking a carpet or a rug. What do you think, true or false? The answer is true. There's quite a lot of things you can't do in the Metropolitan Police District, isn't there? So yeah. Then we have, it is illegal. So it is legal, not illegal, legal. It is legal to erect a washing line across any street. The answer is false. It is actually illegal. You cannot just have your washing anywhere. It has to be limited to your property, your private land, your garden. You can't actually put your washing out on your front street if you wanted to. It is actually illegal. It is legal to willfully and wantonly disturb people by ringing their doorbells or knocking on their doors. So I don't know if when you were younger, any of you used to play knock, door, run. Well, that's what I used to call it. Some people used to call it like ringing bells or something like that. I'm not really sure. But it is legal to willfully and wantonly disturb people by ringing their doorbells or knocking on their doors. True or false? It's false. It's actually illegal to do that. So playing knock, door, run when you were like 7, 9, 11 years old was illegal. You're not allowed to actually do that. And then we have, a horn should not be sounded when stationary on a road at any time other than times of danger due to another vehicle on or near the road. True or false? So you're not allowed to honk your horn basically. This one is saying when you are stationary on a road. So basically if you're stuck in traffic, unless you're in a time of danger. And the answer is true. So you're not actually allowed to, honk your horn when you are still in the car. So I'm sorry about the noise in the background. I am in the staff room filming this, but the next one we have is the differences between the UK and the USA and their laws. So there's just a couple here, and the reason I've only put a couple is because the next task that you're going to be required to do is to create a PowerPoint based around the rule of law, and you're going to be doing a little bit of research on the differences between countries and different laws. So between the UK and the USA, we've got, you don't actually need to do further study after law school or university as it's known in the USA to become a lawyer, unlike in the UK. So if you wanted to become a solicitor, barrister, lawyer, if you go to university in the US, you don't actually have to do any sort of further study. You can actually go straight into a job. So I don't know if anyone's watched Legally Blonde before, but she actually went straight into the job after law school. The next one is the death penalty is actually available in some states in the US, not in the UK. So still in some states in the US, they are still enforcing the death penalty. And we also have committing a crime in one state in the USA, then fleeing to another state, could actually avoid you getting punished in the US. Now, that's not to say that the state officials won't chase you and track you down, but if you move from one state to the other, it's less likely that they will find you. Fortunately, in the UK, you can't actually do that. So the next task, or the task that you will be doing for this particular British value, is a PowerPoint task. So you'll be creating a Google Slides around the rule of law. So this PowerPoint will be located as an empty Google Slides in the classwork section under the rule of law assignment. And what you'll be doing with that is you're going to be creating a PowerPoint around the rule of law, which must explain what the rule of law actually is, why we actually have laws, so what is the reason for the laws and why are they important, how laws differ across countries and who decides on the law in each of the countries that you've chosen. You must have at least 3 countries that you've talked about. So if you're talking about how they differ across countries and who decides on the law in each country, you can choose the UK if you want to, the USA, and also, so you could talk about, as I was saying, you could talk about the UK, the USA. Sorry, I had to pause for a moment. UK, USA, and say Spain, for example, if you wanted to, or Russia, or anything. You don't have to talk about the UK and USA. You could talk about something completely different. You could talk about your ancestral home country if you wanted to, or anything like that, and how the laws differ in each of those countries. You also need to talk about research on one type of crime and how it's punished differently in the UK and USA. So one crime other than murder, because we know obviously the USA has the death penalty, and they usually give the death penalty out for murder. But other than the USA, you need to pick the UK and then any other country and how they would treat a specific crime differently in those 2 countries. So whether you choose, say, for example, the UK and Pakistan, the UK and Russia, the UK and Canada, and then pick one crime that could be theft, arson, rape, anything, and tell me how they would be punished differently in each of those countries. Now, your PowerPoint must actually have at least 6 slides, a minimum of 4 pictures. It must be clear and detailed, and you also need to make sure you have links at the end of your PowerPoint as to where you found your information, because I don't want you making up this information and popping it on the slide. So you need to make sure that you've got your links basically as to where you got your information from. Obviously, some of it will be stuff that you already know beforehand, but others, so for example, your research, make sure you save the links as to where you found the research and pop that as an end slide on your PowerPoint task. So that's your task for today, and I'd like you to get on with it. Thank you very much.